Greetings, basketball lovers. Welcome back to your favorite space for everything related to the San Francisco team, where every rumor becomes a topic and every major announcement becomes history. Here, the commitment is to the thrill of the game and, most importantly, to you, the Golden State fan. And today we have something truly special, a twist that promises to rewrite the next chapters of the franchise. The latest news has sent shockwaves throughout the league. The Golden State Warriors have just made a bold move, one that not only shakes up the sports headlines, but also sparks heated debates about the future of the Western Conference and, why not, the entire NBA. Center Domantas Sabonis, one of the league's most consistent and respected names, now wears the blue and gold jersey. That's right. After weeks of rumors and behind-the-scenes talks, the deal is official. Sabonis has signed with the Warriors for a sum exceeding the $200 million mark. It's a colossal deal, both technically and strategically. This move is not just another trade or typical signing. It's a statement of intent, a direct message to the competition. Golden State is aiming high once again. The franchise doesn't just want to be competitive. It wants to lift the Larry O'Brien trophy once more. Since forming their current core, the Warriors have been synonymous with modern basketball, dominating the perimeter and relying on agility, game reading, and precise shooting to impose their style. However, over time, opponents have found ways to respond to this approach. They've bulked up physically, controlled offensive rebounds, and began to exploit a weakness that became increasingly evident: the lack of a dominant presence in the paint. That's when management acted. It was no longer a question of if, but when, and the moment has arrived. With Sabonis, the Warriors gain not only a player with the strength and skill to battle the league's giants, but also a talent capable of elevating the team's collective play to a new level. Standing at 6'10" with refined court vision, Sabonis is not your traditional big man, stuck on the low block waiting for the ball. His repertoire is vast. He initiates plays, finds teammates in motion, and finishes efficiently, whether near the rim or with mid-range shots. His fit with Steve Kerr's style of play seems natural. The system based on movement, quick passing, and well-spaced floor now gains a new vertex. Picture Sabonis receiving the ball at the top of the key and dishing out slicing passes to cutters. Envision him setting screens to free up shooters in the corners. He takes the unpredictability of the Warriors' offense to a new level. Opponents will no longer be able to simply collapse on the perimeter. They'll have to choose between protecting the rim or contesting shots, and either choice could be fatal. Beyond the technical impact, the addition of Sabonis also breathes new emotional energy into the roster. A signing of this magnitude boosts morale, injects confidence, and renews ambition for everyone involved. Joe Lacob and the other executives have made it clear they're not willing to let the championship window close without doing everything in their power. The financial weight of this decision is impossible to ignore. An investment of this scale demands courage and conviction. We're talking about a figure exceeding $200 million. It's a commitment to the present, but also to the continuation of a legacy that began over a decade ago with the rise of a skinny point guard from Davidson. The message is clear. The Golden State Warriors are doubling down. And what's curious is that, not long ago, few could have imagined this outcome for Sabonis. At the Sacramento Kings, he seemed firmly established as the pillar of their rebuild. He was the player around whom the franchise planned to build a new era. However, something changed behind the scenes. Contract disagreements? A desire to compete for titles? Maybe both. The fact is, the Warriors saw an opportunity and didn't hesitate. The San Francisco front office's ability to negotiate quietly and strike precisely at the right moment has become a trademark. And this time was no different. Golden State knew when to position itself, how to approach, and in what way to convince all involved parties. Now they reap the rewards. The impact will be felt immediately. The long-standing issue of rebounding, a recurring headache in recent years, may finally be resolved. Sabonis is known for his consistency in this department. Season after season, he ranks among the league's top rebounders, posting double-digit averages with ease. That alone shifts the team's defensive outlook. On the other hand, Sabonis's arrival also brings challenges. Adjusting the tactical system, redefining roles, and finding the ideal chemistry among players will take time. Patience and intelligence will be required. But if Golden State has proven anything over the years, it's their ability to reinvent themselves. And of course, the inevitable question, what happens to the current rotation? Sabonis's integration could significantly affect the minutes of other key players. Will we see Draymond Green with new responsibilities? He, who for so long has been the backbone of the Warriors' defense, will now have beside him someone who commands a lot of space and requires a constant presence in the paint. We might see new lineups, a front court with Sabonis and Green together, while the wings rotate more freely. Or, at times, one of them being rested for specific tactical situations. Kerr will have a new range of possibilities at his disposal, and there's no doubt he'll know how to make the most of it. And as monumental as the Sabonis move already is, some say this could be just the first step. Recent history shows that Golden State tends to be aggressive during open trade windows. It's not unthinkable to imagine more moves, even involving familiar names to the fans. It's important to remember that, in the NBA, stability is a fleeting illusion. What today seems like a set roster, tomorrow might be undergoing changes. And with Sabonis already integrated, the margin for maneuver increases. Will the Warriors make another bold move to solidify their dominance? The next chapters promise to be just as thrilling as they are unpredictable. Meanwhile, other franchises are watching, some with admiration, others with concern. After all, how do you prepare a defense against a team that pairs one of the greatest point guards in history with one of the most versatile centers in the league? How do you contain a team that can hurt you from every angle and control the ball like few others? Those answers will come in time. For now, the opponents are left to recalculate, and the fans to celebrate. Because a signing like this doesn't happen every day, and when it does, it's meant to make history. While the spotlight is still shining brightly on the arrival of Domantas Sabonis, the backstage of the Golden State Warriors continues to buzz with analysis, projections, and adjustments aimed at making this new era an immediate success. Because at the highest level of the NBA, it's not enough to just sign well. You need to integrate, adapt, and win. At the center of all of this is Steve Kerr, the architect behind the systems that made the Warriors a powerhouse over the last decade. Now, with such an influential new piece on the board, Kerr's challenge will be to design schemes that maximize Sabonis's unique skills without compromising the fluidity of the game that defines the franchise. And this is no simple task. Sabonis is a player who requires the ball at certain moments, needs space to operate near the paint, and tends to be more efficient with a roster that moves well around him. Luckily, he arrives at a team where these qualities are standard. Players who move without the ball, diagonal cuts, quick passes, and smart decision-making. All of this is already embedded in the DNA of the Warriors. This not only eases his adaptation, but also paves the way for the development of new hybrid plays, where Golden State's traditional system merges with Sabonis's preferences. The result? A team with even more offensive alternatives. An attack that may start with the ball in Curry's hands, but end with a surgical pass from Sabonis for a wide-open perimeter shot, or a reversed pick-and-roll, where the center takes the initiative and the point guard acts as the finisher. These are possibilities that make the system unpredictable, and therefore much harder to defend. On the other hand, from a defensive standpoint, Sabonis's arrival brings both hope and doubts. While he is an exceptional rebounder and has a physical presence, his lateral agility and ability to defend switches on the perimeter are not on the same level as the players who make up the Warriors' traditional defense. This is where Kerr's mastery in building defensive systems that protect his players' weaknesses while maximizing their strengths comes into play. We may see significant tactical adjustments. Green could be moved to cover the perimeter in certain situations, while Sabonis protects the rim. Communication between the two will be crucial. In some lineups, Kevon Looney might enter as a complement, offering more mobility and strengthening the pick-and-roll protection. In others, the team could alternate between man-to-man defense and zone to keep the defense compact and avoid unnecessary exposures. All of this will depend on testing, trial, and error. But this very phase is what promises to be fascinating for those following the sport. Watching a team with so much talent, history, and ambition reshape its identity in real time is like seeing a new chapter being written, and no one wants to miss this story unfold. Meanwhile, in the locker room, human relations also come into play. Although the focus is on statistics and performance, the coexistence of athletes with strong personalities and successful histories is never simple. Sabonis arrives with the status of a star, an athlete who was the centerpiece in Indiana and Sacramento, and now needs to find his place on a roster with very established voices. How he will be received and how he handles the Warriors' environment will have a direct impact on his performance, but all signs point to a favorable atmosphere. The current players understand the importance of evolving and know that Sabonis' arrival doesn't diminish anyone. On the contrary, it raises the team's competitive ceiling. Curry, who has always stood out for his quiet leadership and ability to integrate new talents without losing his own essence, will likely be the most important link in this process. His understanding of the game and collective vision are invaluable differentiators. Talented players, when they unite, have two options: compete for space or collaborate to win, and the Warriors have a history of choosing the second path. Another relevant factor to observe is the psychological impact of this move on the rest of the NBA. The franchises that were on the rise, believing that Golden State's dominance was about to end, now need to rethink their strategy. The message was clear: the dynasty is not ready to relinquish the throne. Opponents who previously tried to exploit the physical weaknesses of the Warriors will now have to think twice before overemphasizing the interior game. With Sabonis on board, the battle for the paint will be much more balanced, if not completely tilted in Golden State's favor. And this changes not only the way games are played, but also how rosters are constructed. It's plausible to imagine that some franchises, seeing the Warriors move, will start to make their own adjustments. The NBA operates in a domino effect. When a big piece moves, all the others try to reposition their strategies to avoid falling behind. This could lead to a new wave of trades, unexpected reinforcements, and last-minute reshuffles. And all of this, of course, will have Golden State as the reference point. From the fans' perspective, the moment is one of excitement. There's a buzz in the air that reminds of the days leading up to the magical 2015 season. Not necessarily because of the favoritism, but because of the feeling that something special is forming. A mix of expectation, curiosity, and pride. Seeing the franchise invest heavily, think big, and place elite pieces alongside the icons that are already part of NBA history is cause for celebration. Speaking of icons, the legacy of names like Curry and Green is now entering a new phase. They are no longer just the protagonists of a generation. They become mentors, leaders of a structure that must be kept alive even as time passes. Sabonis' reinforcement also represents this passage, a bridge between the golden era of the past and a new golden era that aims to be built in the present. As the calendar advances, the world's eyes will be on the first games with Sabonis on the court, not only to see what he can offer individually, but to understand what he represents collectively. What will the immediate impact be? Will there be an adaptation curve? How will the chemistry come together under pressure against opponents who will do everything they can to exploit weaknesses in the early weeks? These are questions that only time will answer. But one thing is already certain. Sabonis' arrival reignites the flame of maximum competitiveness in the heart of the Warriors. And in a league as balanced as today's NBA, where every detail matters, this could be the difference between falling in the first rounds of the playoffs or lifting yet another championship trophy. And if you think the story ends here, think again. The move was big, but not necessarily the last. The gears keep turning, scouts are still watching, and Golden State's front office remains active behind the scenes. A new piece could emerge, a new adjustment may be needed. Because in the NBA chess game, those who stop to celebrate a move too much are usually caught off guard by the next one. It seems that Golden State has no intention of being caught off guard. Quite the opposite. They are playing to win, now and forever. At this point, fans are already starting to imagine what it will be like to watch the Warriors on a typical regular season night, now with Sabonis as one of the central figures. The Chase Center, which always erupts with every basket from Stephen Curry, will have new reasons to explode with excitement when Sabonis grabs a crucial offensive rebound, dishes out an improbable assist in the heart of the opposing defense, or records a double-double with ease. But while the excitement grows on the outside, internally, the franchise is working on a key issue: long-term fit. The modern NBA increasingly values versatility, and the front office knows that having a dominant center means not just tactically changing the present, but also building a foundation for the coming years. It's a strategic bet that goes beyond the current moment. It's an attempt to restructure the team's identity for the future. In this scenario, Sabonis is more than just an impactful player. He represents a new style, a new rhythm within an already established system. He is the link between the dynamism of the perimeter and the solidity of the paint. This duality is rare and extremely valuable. Few players in the league can simultaneously be creators and finishers with efficiency, especially at his position. From a technical standpoint, his presence can alleviate some of the burden that has fallen on Curry for years. While the point guard remains the engine of the team, the possibility of sharing playmaking responsibilities with a skilled big man makes the Warriors' offense less predictable and more sustainable over the 48 minutes. This allows Curry to conserve energy, select his moments of offensive aggression better, and, most importantly, be spared from excessive wear and tear on busy calendar nights. On the other hand, Sabonis's impact on the bench must also be watched carefully. His arrival will inevitably affect the rotation. Players who once had guaranteed minutes will now have to compete for space. This could spark healthy internal competition, raising the level of practices and, consequently, performances on the court. Or it could force the coach to make difficult decisions that test the group's cohesion. In any case, adjustments will come. The coaching staff will have to deal with the puzzle of keeping everyone engaged and productive without compromising the rhythm and chemistry. And like any great team, the Warriors know that the path to excellence lies in constant adaptation. Another issue to be observed is the management of expectations. With the arrival of a player of Sabonis's caliber, the media, analysts, and fans naturally turn their focus toward immediate results. There will be pressure for victories, dominant performances, and a quick rise up the Western Conference standings. But basketball is a game of chemistry, repetitions, and trust built over time. And as much as the talent is there, patience will be needed. The ideal approach, therefore, is to track the team's growth in cycles. Assess progress not just by results, but by the development of on-court connections, the evolution of collective defense, and the fluidity of the offense in key moments. These indicators will reveal whether the team is on the right path toward the ultimate goal, and that goal is no secret: to reclaim the NBA title. Sabonis knows this. He joins a franchise where ambitions are always high, where the culture of winning is almost tangible. He steps into a locker room where every detail matters, where every game feels like a must-win, even if it's still January. And this kind of environment can be both challenging and motivating. In Sacramento, he was the focal point. Everything went through him. In Golden State, he will need to share the spotlight, adjust his decisions for teammates who are also stars. This process will require maturity, humility, and a will to win. But if there's one thing Sabonis has proven throughout his career, it's that he knows how to reinvent himself. Whether with the Pacers or the Kings, he always found ways to elevate his game. And now, with a more structured team around him, it's reasonable to expect a new, even more dangerous version of the center. From an administrative standpoint, this move also reignites an old debate. How much is it worth paying to build a competitive roster? The more than $200 million invested show that the Warriors are not worried about saving money when they believe there's a real opportunity for success. But this also means heavy financial commitment, which could impact future decisions. The salary cap, the luxury tax, expiring contracts, all of this comes into play. The front office, led by Joe Lacob, understands that each season is a chance that cannot be wasted. They don't want to look back in a few years and realize they weren't aggressive enough. It's a philosophy of calculated risk, but one that has proven to work in the past. And the fans respond to this mindset with passion. They can tell when the franchise is just going through the motions and when it's truly aiming for the top. Sabonis' arrival makes it clear that the Warriors are more alive than ever in the race for the title. But it's not just the opponents or the fans who will need to adjust to the new reality. The league itself, in a broader sense, will feel the effects of this move. The balance of power in the West shifts. The projections for the playoffs change. The narratives that will be told throughout the season shift. The presence of a player like Sabonis on a stage like the Warriors also changes the way the league will be consumed by the global audience. Internationally televised games, new sponsors interested, more visibility on social media. The spectacle machine feeds on these changes. And when a team with such history makes a bold move, the ripple effect is felt in every direction. The season is still far from over, but the tone has already been set. Golden State is not here to build a bridge to the future. They're here to dominate the present. And with Sabonis, this plan seems more realistic than ever. Kaisoto, at 22 years old, is already standing out in the global basketball scene. He is more than just a tall athlete. His physical and technical skills make him a very interesting prospect. With a combination of imposing size and surprising agility, the young player proves to be a threat both offensively and defensively. His presence in the paint is dominant, but it is his versatility in attack that truly catches attention, showcasing a rare combination of strength and creative skill to finish plays. However, the question is whether these qualities will be enough to guarantee his success in the NBA. The transition to the American League is a big challenge. The NBA is not like any other competition. The level of physical, technical, and mental demand is incomparable. The fast pace, the strength of the opponents, and the intensification of strategies require an extremely high adjustment level for any player. If Kaisoto manages to secure a spot on the Golden State Warriors roster, his impact would not be limited only to his performance on the court. The Bay Area, home to the Warriors, has a large Filipino community, and Sotto's arrival would be a cultural milestone, connecting Filipino fans even more intensely with the NBA and the franchise. The player would not only be an addition to the team, but an icon of pride for millions of Filipinos around the world. Imagine the energy he would bring to the Chase Center, with the Filipino crowd making themselves heard in the stands, with their vibrant and passionate support. This would be much more than just basketball. It would be a true cultural celebration. Moreover, for the Warriors, Kai's addition could expand the team's commercial horizons, especially considering the huge Asian market. Kai's popularity in the Philippines could boost the Warriors' brand reach, making it even more global. However, entering the NBA is no easy task, and Sotto would face obstacles far beyond natural talent. The league demands more than basic skills. To shine in the NBA, he will need to refine his consistency, reaction speed, physical endurance, and defensive skills. Even with his promising track record in the Japanese league, the NBA offers a level of competition where every mistake is exposed and exploited. The adaptation time will be short, and he will have to work hard to prove that he can be a valuable asset, both offensively and defensively. If Golden State does indeed decide to invest in Kaisoto, it would be a calculated bet, but one that has the potential to transform the young player's career. The franchise has an enviable history of helping young talents develop their potential, and the opportunity to train alongside legends like Stephen Curry and Draymond Green would be a unique chance for growth. The Warriors' environment, with its focus on tactical intelligence and continuous development, could be the perfect place for Kai to hone his skills. However, the pressure of playing for the Warriors comes with the need to deliver results quickly. The team aims to win more championships, and therefore, the search for young talents must be balanced with the need to strengthen the team for immediate challenges. Every roster spot is precious, and Kai will have to prove his worth from the start. In addition to the technical and sports issues, the possible signing of Sotto also carries great cultural and market weight. The NBA has become increasingly global, and players like Kaisoto represent a bridge between different cultures. His presence in the NBA could attract new audiences to basketball, especially in Asia, where the sport has been growing exponentially. Imagine the scene, the Chase Center, packed with Filipino fans cheering with every play of Kai. The atmosphere would be electric, with Filipino flags and an extremely engaged fan base, not only at the games but also on social media and in the official merchandise market. Kai would become not just a player, but a cultural icon. His signing would not only be a sports move, but also a marketing strategy to further increase the Warriors' popularity in Asia. If Sotto manages to overcome the initial challenges of the NBA, he could become a key part of the new generation of Warriors players. The team, with its tradition of developing great players, could provide Kai with the ideal platform to grow. However, his success will depend on his patience and persistence, two essential elements for any young player who wants to leave a lasting mark on the league. The real question is, will Kaisoto be the missing player to complete the Golden State Warriors puzzle? He could add a strong presence in the paint, something the team has lacked in recent years, helping to face more physical opponents. His shot-blocking ability and offensive reach could be the key to strengthening the defense and enriching the team's offensive game. If you liked the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any news about the Warriors. Also, turn on the bell to get notifications firsthand. See you next time.